Hi, so I promised more videos and I thought I would just start right at it. There are three things I want to talk about today. Number one is the Tucson Memorial, which I was very lucky to be able to attend for Gabrielle Giffords and those who died that day. Second is this strange phenomena of um, the hyper competitiveness of pop music among fans, not necessarily the artists, but the fans who need to assert dominance of one pop artist over the other and how that's unique to pop music. And then thirdly, I just saw Dexter season 4, so I'm an entire season behind, but I wanted to give some of my thoughts on that. The memorial, what can I say? I am extraordinarily grateful to have been a part of that. I volunteered at the event, so I was actually seating some federal judges in a VIP section because they were there because one of their own had died. There's been a lot of criticism of the memorial, and it seems to center around this sort of, you hear the term pep rally thrown around a lot, and I just wanted to say that the people that are saying that aren't really taking into consideration the context in which this event has occurred. They seem to write it off as the manifestation of having a memorial in a college basketball stadium. The memorial was just as much a celebration of the extraordinary acts of heroism on this past Saturday, I believe, as it was those who actually died. You have Daniel Hernandez, who is a good friend of mine, who actually came to Gabby's aid and administered first aid, applied pressure to her wounds, got makeshift bandages to apply to victims, and stayed with her until the ambulance came. You have the men who tackled the shooter. You have a woman who reached for his magazines, his bullets, his ammunition, so he couldn't reload. It's remarkable the way that the way that people stood up for each other that day and they protected each other. And people are really discounting how important it is to celebrate those extraordinary acts of heroism. And that's what that was. The clapping that occurred, most of the clapping and cheering was directed at Daniel. It was directed at all of those heroes. The doctor was the star of the memorial. Every time the camera came on to him, the audience roared into applause because he'd taken such great care of our congresswoman. And of course, Obama was also loudly applauded. This is a very democratically inclined district for a very Republican state. But I just wanted to remind everyone that you don't really understand unless you're actually there, and it's amazing that Obama can deliver this incredible speech about the civility of discourse and whatnot, and then immediately have it thrown back in his face by the right. So that's all I have to say about that issue. Next, in the wake of Britney Spears' new single, I just find it extremely interesting that people need to kind of find ways to. They're so competitive about who's number one, how many singles are being sold, how many times is it played in the radio, how many albums are being sold, whatnot. And people, Lady Gaga fans, Kesha fans, Rihanna fans, Britney fans, are kind of psychotic sometimes, and it kind of baffles me. It's like, who cares? They're like calling each other names, like things that your grandmother would never want to believe that you even knew meant. People are saying about each other just because they have disagreements over pop music. And I think what's so interesting is that this is only pop music. You have Britney fans saying, "You little monsters are fucked up pieces of shit. She's a fucking die, blah 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 blah." You have Gaga fans saying Britney's this talentless piece of shit, whatever. Uh, why is this so unique to pop music? You don't see, like, and I gave this example to another Tumblr. You don't see this example of like Anne Hathaway fans like mouthing off to Meryl Streep fans saying, "Oh, that cunt is such a has-been. Like she's never been in a good movie. She makes it all about her little lip pursing, and you don't ever hear that. But pop music, people seem to get so intense about, and it's like you listen to that, I listen to this, and I don't care. Um, maybe this does go back to the civility of discourse within our great pop emissaries of today. Maybe there are parallels we can draw between our taste in pop music and our legislators' inability to communicate in a way that doesn't result in juvenile behavior. And that's that. And with that, if you haven't seen Dexter season 4, you should go now. But it's been really great having you. So Dexter season 4, you're gone now, right? Uh, Dexter season 4 is very famous for its shocking ending, which of course was spoiled for me because here I am watching it a year later. Dexter has his wife Rita, who dies, and there was just that the season was a great season. Season 3 was, in my opinion, not so great. But season 4 is really interesting, but it became really hard to. Willing suspension of disbelief became very hard to maintain because Dexter is. It doesn't seem like he's ever at work or at home, and he keeps telling the other that he's with the other. So you feel like it doesn't catch up to him quite as quickly as it should, and you also find it hard to sympathize with him because you start to realize that any of the work that John Lithgow, his character, does in the in those episodes is his fault because Dexter had so many chances to kill him. By the way, I can never look at John Lithgow the same again. You see his naked body a few times. Third Rock from the Sun. No, not so much. Now I see a crazy fucking serial killer. But by the way, I don't understand what is up with Miami Homicide when his psycho daughter, they're trying to figure out who the killer is, and they look to his daughter, and they don't check her phone records because she's calling him so many fucking times. I don't know why they couldn't just check her phone to track who her dad is. So that felt like was a really gaping plot hole. And then, yeah, I think that was pretty much it. The ending was really sad, and you can't help but feel like it's Dexter's fault. But there you have it. And that's been my first vlog, giving me a chance to mouth off on topics because you know how I love to get on a soapbox or get some kind of avenue for me to unleash upon you all. Have a good night. Happy New Year. Hope your 2011 is better for you than it is for all of those thousands of blackbirds and other animals that are dying around the world.